Oh, what's up, y'all? I haven't done a what's up, y'all in ages. I'm happy to be here, though. I'm coming out of my morning meditation practice, and this came through to me so clearly, and I want to offer it to you all. It is a retraction. It's not a retraction, it's a reorientation to something that I used to say and that I've seen many people say before, that I am rethinking, that I think is not accurate, and I want to offer a new framework. I have said many, many, many times, sometimes you're going to have to do it afraid, right? Like, if the thing scares you, you have to do it afraid. I've said it so many times on stages, etc. And I just had such a beautiful revelation, an invitation to a different way of being that happened in my morning practice. It's moving through some rough energy. There are a bunch of squares. Moon square this, Saturn square that. It's a bunch of squares. It's so funny, a bunch of squares. And inside of this tension that is in the air, I realize that is big, big, big fear coming up for me. And one of my daily practices with my beloved Chachawami, my spiritual husband, is that we do a daily check-in and a daily check-out. And one of the questions in the check-in is, what is my level of self-trust? And one of the rules that we have is that when our self-trust is not high, there are no decisions to be made. And what I realized last night, I had a bout of really negative self-talk. And I had insomnia, I couldn't fall asleep. And then I was saying all of this just mean stuff to myself, which is a very old thing that does not happen very often anymore at all. And then this morning in my practice, I woke up and that negative, mean voice was still there a bit. But as I did my meditation, other voices came in, and they were not as mean. It was like I realized there was a 9th grade class or an 8th grade class inside of me. And there was mean students and know-it-all students, and then really scared students. And they were all arguing in the class. And I realized that I'm we could look at that. It's the class, and I'm the teacher, or these is all my kids, and I'm the parent. But either way it goes, I realized, and I also used to work for young people with mental emotional health challenges. And when they acted out, there was always some underlying fear that was moving in them. And that their acting out behavior was a function of their fear, actually. And, I'm a Gen Xer, so I grew up raised by boomers. It was stop out of crying for I give you something to cry about, who, tried to force you to do shit you was afraid of. They gave us real, there are a lot of imprints of Gen X children that is neglect as a sort of pattern. And many, many, many of the people born in my time were born with the same core wound, which is Chiron and Aries, which means there's a wound around too much self-reliance. So there's a generational wound around too much self-reliance. And too much self-reliance comes from not having safe adults to rely on. Not because they were bad or wrong, but often because they was working double shifts or In my case, they were struggling with their own traumas and addictions. And so, anyway, I say all of that to say there are these multitude of locations where I could see how the wiring of figure it out by yourself and do it afraid came, right? And what I realized today in my practice is, no, you don't do it afraid. Don't do it afraid. That doesn't mean do nothing. It doesn't mean be paralyzed by fear. What it means is slow down and find out what the fear is about. Tend to the fear. Find out what it is. Ask it to reveal itself to you. And then give it love and reassurance. What is it afraid of? And do you have the ability to lovingly reassure it? And if you don't have the ability to lovingly reassure it, do you have supports in your life that will allow you to lovingly reassure it? And if you don't have supports in your life that will allow you to lovingly reassure it, then that's actually step one. I need to cultivate some practices and some people that allow me to lovingly reassure my fear so that my fear can surrender to trust. And from the location of trust, I take action. That fear is your indication that there is an order of operations, and the first thing to do in the order of operations is soothe the scared child. That's the first thing you do. That is it feels like a revolutionary breakthrough, and certainly how we were taught to deal with, I've seen so many people drag scared kids into places and make them do things. It's a really terrible imprint. It's a really terrible imprint of being taught to override your nervous system. And one of the things that I am really working in this era of my existence is transformation without terror, pain, fear, sadness, shame, guilt, like what used to be motivators for my transformation in the past is changing, that I believe I can transform through peace, power, joy, pleasure, and ease. That life can transform through more love, actually, which means when an energy that is not loving, or that we don't perceive as loving, presents itself, the first rule is, what do I need to do to pause and meet that energy with love and integrate that energy into my loving self? And from there, only then, am I actually ready to take action. And so much of why we don't do this is because it means we have to slow down. It means that the things we want to do, we can't do yet. It means the impulse that wants to happen right now can't happen yet because we don't override ourselves. We don't engage in subtle forms of self-betrayal and self-abandonment, like overriding our scared kids so that we can do whatever this capitalist, consumerist, domination-based structure has wired that we need to do now, right? Immediacy, urgency. No. Tend to the scared child first. Reassure it. Bring it into love, into loving alignment with you. Don't do it afraid. Don't do it afraid. Sort out what is afraid in you, and then go give it a bunch of love until it feels like you love it so much that it trusts you again. And then you're ready to do it. Love y'all. Bye.